Hey there, welcome to Looplearnings, and this is video number 8 of the series how to make inventory management system. And in this video I'm going to go further beyond the main menu. So we are going to work on the sub menu. If you haven't watched my previous video, in my previous video I created the main menu, we kind of set it up, and in this video we will look at the sub menu. Before I go ahead and start demonstrating, I would like to ask you, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so and hit the bell icon so you get notification as well whenever I upload a new video. Also, if you end up liking this after watching, please make sure that you give it thumbs up as well. Right, so what are we going to do today? Okay, let me log on to this. Is the dashboard that we created in previous video, and this is the main menu I was talking about. So in the main menu we kind of set up the main menu and their respective action button for each main menu according to the module selected. All right, so you can see the buttons are being changed and their captions are being changed, and that's because we set up our environment in that particular manner. Now what I would like to do in this video is to make sure that the sub menu that we have created, so this is a sub menu, by the way, on the top, on your left side on the green white buttons, this is the main menu. Essentially each button representing a one module of the software. So we have 5 modules of this application that we intend to build. So first one is manage organizational information, product information, second module, third module is about inventory management, fourth module is about sales management, and fifth module is about accounting and finance. So there are really 5 modules. So what I would like to do is I would like to go with each module one by one. So first we'll start with, today we will go with the manage organization module. So what do I mean by going with each module? So for example, if I click on manage organization button, we see only 2 things. That means these 2 things are really important for this organizational module. One is creating location, setting up the location, and the second aspect is the user activity. So this we are going to focus on. So what we are going to do, let me explain. So in each video you will see the similar kind of setup here. So for example, locations, first of all, if I click on locations, couple of things should happen. First of all, this now viewing text box should be, this is actually text box right now, it's empty. This should be filled up with locations, and then there is a button here which is hidden at the moment, so that button should appear, and the caption of that button will represent what option was clicked. So in this case, today in this video we are going to work on locations and user activity. So and this list box also, we want the related information to pop up in this. So if there are locations created in this application already, then that information, all the list of those locations should appear in this list box. Similarly, if I click on user activity, then this list box should be filled with the user activities. Okay, and that's what I'm going to demonstrate. So when we will finish with this module, then we will move to the next module, which is product management. And in this module you can see there are 3 buttons. That means we have to create 3 different forms also. So we'll have to create a form for products, we'll have to create a form for variants, we will have to create form for catalogs, and likewise we will have to create functionality to display the existing products here, or we have to create a functionality to have a button here to create a new product, to create a new variant, to create a new catalog. So there's a lot of work needs to be done, and I'm sure this series is also going to be as long as 30 or 30 plus videos. So I hope that you will be with me, and now let's get started with our first module. First of all, we'll set up the sub menu here. Okay, so we'll work on the first button, which is called locations. So I'll go to the design view, and if you will see, now there are already some buttons. Okay, so there are predefined 6 buttons. So according to the selection from the main menu, we kind of hide the buttons and we change the buttons. So that's why we created only 6 buttons, but then we dynamically change them and their functionalities as well. Now, if the first button, so first of all, we are going to go with locations. That's the first button, right? So if this button, we will select this, and we will have to do VBA coding behind this button. So I selected it, and I will go to the property sheet, event tab, on click event we want, and code builder. Okay, now quickly I'm going to copy and paste the error handling, so I don't have to type again and again. On error, resume, next. All right, so in here we will have to, because this button called btn1 will be used for multiple modules, multiple objects. So that's why we have to define what is being displayed here. So if the caption, so that's our identification. Our identification is the caption of button. Okay, so if the caption, let me show you again. So if I click on manage organization, the caption of this button turns to location. If I click on product management, the caption becomes the products. You getting my point, what I'm trying to say? So this is our reference point. So we will look at what is the caption, and based on that caption we will do the VBA coding. Okay, hopefully it is clear. If it is not, but still keep watching, I'm sure you will be clear. So then we will have to put if condition. So we'll say if me.btn1 dot caption, so we are checking the caption of the button, is equal to locations. Then okay, so if this button's caption is locations, then what should happen? Well, then we want a couple of things to happen. First of all, we want this text box, it's called txt now viewing, to be filled up with the caption of the button. Okay, so we'll say me.btn1, sorry, me.txt now viewing dot value is equal to me.btn1 dot caption. So whatever the caption is, that should be filled here in this text box. Okay, also we want this create button to be appeared. Okay, that should also happen when I click on locations button, and the caption of this button should be changed to not create, should be changed to create locations, right? So that should happen. So me.btn create dot visible is equal to true. Okay, and then caption should be me.btn create dot caption is equal to create location. Okay, so first we sorted that out. Now let's bring the locations information from the locations table into this list box called dynamic list. Okay, so if there are records created for that particular object that we have clicked on, so if there are already locations created in the database, we want to fetch the information of the locations into this list box. So how do we do this? Well, first of all, we will have to determine whether we are going to use the record source as a list, as a table, or we have to convert table into queries and then we use that query as a record source. So we have to determine that. So let's go to the locations table, double click on that. So this is a straightforward table. We don't need to do anything. It's just we have to use the same table and we have to fetch the information. There are a lot of fields here in this table. We don't necessarily need to have all the fields in our list box. What do we need to have is location ID, location type, location name, and perhaps the in charge and the status of location. So only these fields we will have in our list box, and then we will create a functionality to double click on this and to open the relevant information. Right, so first of all, in terms of VBA coding, we need to actually define the record source, row source of this list table. If I go to the data tab, you can see a row source here. Okay, so the row source we have to define, and the row source will be actually the SQL statement. So we will say me.dynamic_list.row source. So dynamic list is the name of this list box that we are using, equal to, and then we will use the select statement, equal to select what. So now Microsoft Access or SQL statement is asking, what do you want me to select? So we want it to select a location ID. Okay, so we have to type in the name of this field exactly the way it is, otherwise we are going to, exactly the way it is mean the spellings should be correct. You know, capital letter, small letter, doesn't matter, but the spelling needs to be correct, otherwise it is going to throw an error saying the system can't find the reference field. Okay, so we want the location type, so comma location type, comma, what else do we need? We want location, comma, we want in charge, comma, we want status. Okay, now we have informed the statement saying, hey, select location ID, location type, location in charge, status. Now we have to tell from where this data need to be selected. So it should be selected from locations table, from locations. Again, you have to give a correct name of the table or query that you are referring to, otherwise you are going to get error. Okay, so that is it from the select statement point of view. So we have defined the row source. Now we have to define the properties or characteristics of this list box. So the first thing we need to do is to define the column count. So how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 columns we have to define. me.dynamic_list.column count is equal to 5, not 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we want 5 columns to be appeared, and then we want the headings of these columns to be appeared as well. So me.dynamic_list.column heads is equal to true. Okay, now we also want to define the width of each column. Okay, so width of each column we want to define. So that we will do me.dynamic_list.column widths, okay, is equal to inverted commas, and in here we will define the width in centimeters. So first column is really the location ID, and we don't need to know the location ID, but we do need location ID, and I will tell you later on why we need location ID. But so we need location ID, but we will hide it. So we will say 0 centimeters. So first column for location ID, we don't want to see it. So therefore 0 centimeter would be the column width. We do want to see location type, and location type, if I will go to the table, it is a little bit bigger field. Okay, so we can say that, let's say, what is the width here of field width. So I think this is not in centimeters, this is in, I believe, some other dimension. Okay, so we will use 4 centimeter. We will change it later on if we think so. Then we need location. For location we can keep 5 centimeters width, and then we have in charge. For in charge we keep 3 centimeters, and then we have status. For status we can keep 2 centimeters. All right, and then we close the if statement with end if. Debug it, save it. Let's test it out. Okay, so I'll log on to the application properly. Okay, so right now we don't have any sub menu, we don't have any list box showing any data, we don't have create button showing, nothing is here. So let's click on manage organization. We get 2 buttons. Okay, we get this text box populated automatically. Now I click on locations, and boom, you can see that now viewing is locations. Okay, it is showing whatever the caption is, and we got this button as well. All right, and we've got the information from the table also. So perhaps we can increase the size of location column a little bit, in charge column a little bit, because we don't need the status column to be bigger. Okay, perhaps the location type column a little bit as well. So the idea is correct. We are getting what we want. The only little adjustments we need to do. So this button also, the auto width should be changed accordingly. So let's go ahead and do that. First I'll select this button, we'll go to the format, and we'll look for the okay, vertical anchor, display when. Okay, all right, so I think we can't, I believe I saw or used this option before as well. Anyway, I will increase the size of it, width of it. Now let's go to this button, and we will increase the width for the location type column. We'll increase the width for the location column. We'll increase the width for the in charge column. Now if we will go and see, let's see how it will be. All right, manage organization, locations, perfect. So we have this, we have create location button here, we have location button is fetching the information as well. Now the problem is, I don't want the scroll bars. I'm not very big fan of having scroll bars in the list box. That means we have to reduce the size again. Earlier we increased the size, but unfortunately that is a little bigger. Let's make 4.5. Let's make a 6 centimeter, perhaps 3 centimeters. All right, So this is all testing. Cool, now we are good. So we have proper width of each column, we have button properly maintained, and we have all the information whatever we want. So perfect till now. Now let's do another thing. Now if I want to see the further information about this location, how will I see it? Well, the only thing I can do as a user, I can double click on this location and I should get a pop-up form to see the information related to location, and I can edit it, I can view it, I can delete it if I have authorization to do it. All of that can be done. So that means we have to create a double click event here. So let's go ahead and do that. So on the list box event tab, on DBL click, which means double click dot 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 code builder, and let's copy this error handling. On error, resume next. Okay, now this is where we are going to refer to now viewing button, because this is our reference point to see that what information is being displayed in this list box. Remember, this list box is called dynamic list for a reason, because this list box is going to be used for all kind of information, right? So we have to see what kind of information is being displayed, and to see and to tell access to check what kind of information is being displayed is this reference point. So we will refer to txt now viewing button, and then we will perform our action. So we'll select on this. I've already done that, so we'll come here. So we'll say if me.txt now viewing dot value is equal to locations. Okay, this is what we are, then okay, this is what we have clicked on, locations. Okay, so if it is txt now viewing dot value is equal to locations, then we want to open the form. So do cmd dot open form. Which form? Well, we want to open locations form, locations f, that's the name, locations f. Okay, comma where condition we will have to provide, and in where condition we will say location id equals to me dot dynamic list dot column 0. Now if you remember, I mentioned this, we want location ID, but we certainly don't want to see it on our list box, so that's why we kind of hide it. So it's hidden, but it is there, and the reason it is there is because of this. We want to refer to location ID in the list box, which is located in column 0, so we can open the relevant information later on whenever we need to do so. Okay, so I think that is it, and for now we will close the if condition. Let's test it out. Okay, again, it's a better practice that you test at the same time when you are creating a functionality. So we do get the information, and let's double click. If our code is correct, we should have a little form here which is displaying the information related to location. So there you go. So the form is opening. We can do further changes, maybe change the charge name, email address, or mark it inactive, whatsoever. Any modifications that are required, you can further do it. So this is working, and now we have to get this button in action. So for example, if let's say we want to create a new location, then what we will do? Well, in that case, we will click on this button, create location, and then we should be able to get location form. But we need to get the user confirmation. Hey, do you really want to create a new location? If user says no, then we discard that action. So that's the functionality we want to build. So let's go back and let's click here, and again for our reference point will be this text box. So we will look at what is visible here, and accordingly we will ask. Or you can put your reference point the caption of the button itself, so that also you can do. So we'll have on click event, code builder. Let's copy the code block for error handling. On error, resume next. So we will say dim response as integer. Okay, so that's the variable we will create, and then we will refer to this variable. So we'll say do cmd.beep. We want a beep response as well, and then we would say response is equal to message box. Okay, and the message box would be you are about to create a new location. Are you sure to proceed? Question mark. Okay, comma VB yes no plus VB question, comma what else? Title would be choose option, close parenthesis. Okay, so we'll say if response is equal to VB yes, then if the response is yes, then what should be done? Well, then create open a new form. So do cmd dot open form. Which form? We have to give form name locations f. Okay, that's the name of the form, and we want to open it in add mode. Okay, and otherwise else, if user chooses no, then do nothing. And that's it. Okay, so we have closed the if condition as well. Debug it, save it, close it. Let's go back, login, click manage organization, locations. We get this button, and we get option. You are about to create a new location. Are you sure to proceed? If I click no, then nothing happens. If I click again, if I click yes, then a new form opens to ask to create a new location. But we don't want to create right now, so we'll just close it. That's it. So that is how you use the buttons in a different manner, and so the sequence that you have seen today. So what we did in this, let's summarize it in this tutorial. Well, first of all, we activated this button. So behind this button, we did a coding, and when user click on this button, couple of things happen. First of all, this text box filled in with the whatever button we have clicked on. Okay, then this button appears, visibility comes to true, and then the text also, the caption of this button also changes to according to whatever button is selected. Okay, then this list box get the information, fetch the information from the relevant table or query and displays it on the list box. Then if there is already existing record, then then we created a functionality to double click on any of particular record to see the further information, to do any modification. All right, then we built a functionality to create a new record if there is no record already available. And to do that, we built a functionality to ask question to the user and provide them with the option yes or no, and they choose the option whether they want to create a record or no. So that's what we did in this particular tutorial. I hope that you have learned something. I hope that it will add value to your knowledge, to your skills. And again, I repeatedly say this and I will say it again, you can't learn Microsoft Access or programming in general just by watching the tutorial. If you really want to practice, if you really want to learn, you have to practice. Without practice, I can tell you, no matter 100 or 1000 tutorial videos you will watch, nothing will happen. You will just waste your time if you don't put it into practice. So I want you to open your laptop and Microsoft Access. I want you to see this video from the start again and follow each step what I have demonstrated in this video. Then only you will learn. Oh, by the way, a lot of people ask me, hey, can you upload this somewhere and we can download this? My answer to all of you is that two answers particularly. One is I don't have any problem to upload this. Second is that if I upload this project, that means you are going to use the same project which I have created. You are not going to put effort in learning. So I want you to put effort in learning. I want you to make your hand dirty writing the code, if you know what I mean. So write the code, design it yourself, then you will learn it. If you are really learning, if you're just watching for the sake of watching, then it's up to you. But if you really want to learn, then you have to practice it. Okay, not only watch it but practice it. All right, anyway, that's it for now, for today. I hope it added value. If you like whatever you have seen, smash the like button. This is how YouTube knows that people are liking the content. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I don't know why you haven't subscribed, so go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.